Hi friends, and welcome to the Art of Estate Planning podcast. I'm Tara Lucke, founder of the Art of Estate Planning, and my mission is to inform, inspire, and support you in your estate planning practice. Before we dive in, a quick heads up. The primary purpose of this podcast is to educate and inspire. The views expressed by me and any of our guests are for information purposes only and do not constitute legal, taxation, or financial advice. If you act on anything from this episode, please make sure you can back up your advice by relying on primary sources such as legislation references and case law. Welcome to episode 33 of the Art of Estate Planning podcast. It's Tara here, and today's episode is all about your must-have estate planning resources. So whether you are new to estate planning or if you are a seasoned succession lawyer, obviously having the right tools to make your life easier in terms of staying up to date, learning new things, researching issues, it's going to make all the difference to staying on top of law changes, finding answers fast, and basically living your best life as an estate planning lawyer. So in this episode, I just wanted to share some of the resources that I love and rely upon. Yeah, I don't want to gatekeep. I want to make sure that we get the word out there and help. If this helps anybody feel more connected and have better access to resources, then I just think I'll have done my job. Now, firstly, I want to say I have a list written out for you already, so you don't have to get out a pen and scribble these down. I'm going to put in the show notes where you can download the list. And also, if you are listening to this and you think, oh my gosh, she hasn't put down this seriously awesome resource, please let me know. Put it in the Facebook group for the Art of Estate Planning and I will put it on the list so everybody gets access to it. Because I'm not about gatekeeping. I want to share everything we've got. And just, we're a beautiful collaborative community in estate planning. And I think this is a really nice way to get the word out there. So just a little background, I guess. Actually, the thing that inspired me to put this list together and do this podcast episode is that I've had quite a few inquiries from lawyers who are looking to branch into estate planning. So they're experienced lawyers in another specialization, and they've been seeing how much fun we're having in estate planning and thinking, okay, I actually really want to get into that area, and where do I even start? And estate planning is kind of funny, right? In tax, we've got the master tax guide and it's kind of the Bible with everything. And I think that there's similar guides on other areas of law, but estate planning is kind of tricky because you've got succession rules and no federal legislation pretty much. Everything is state by state and it's different in every state. And not only is there one piece of legislation, we've got the trusts legislation, you've got the succession or wills legislation, you've got the powers of attorney legislation. So there's multiple areas of legislation. Then you've got to add in other areas of law, right? Like trust law, superannuation law, tax law, and then doubling on the fringes with family law. And can I just say, I haven't even mentioned estate litigation or estate admin, right? This is just upfront getting your will drafted. So it's not an easy thing to feel like you've covered the bases. So I thought, let's put this resource together. And we have got some incredible underground in the know resources that people should know about. So I guess I've got this into resources that are free, that cost you nothing, and then also what should you invest in? Because it can be hard to know. Obviously estate planning resources are not cheap. And yeah, what's worth spending your money on and what's maybe not going to give you that bang for buck. So I'll tell you what I think anyway, and you guys can give me feedback too. So in terms of the free resources, obviously you know about this podcast, incredible. So start here. We also are in excellent company with a couple of other podcasts. So I want to shout out the Airwaves podcast. Now, this is Kate Brewer, who is a barrister in Queensland, and Michelle Davis, who is an experienced lawyer in succession law. And if you're looking for it, firstly, there's just the URL and it's written down in the checklist. But if you haven't got that, they are so clever because the Airwaves is actually air. Oh gosh, it's HEIR, not AIR waves, but heir as in you're the heir of my estate, HEIR. So I love that play on words. Well done, girls. And also the Just In Case podcast as well is also a really interesting one too. So I think get those in your ears. Great for updates, technical issues. Who doesn't love learning while they're on the go, in the car, on their walks, whatever? Can I shout out my own YouTube channel, which... yeah, I am. There's a lot of resources here. I've practically dedicated my career to creating resources for you, so I'm not going to be shy about it. But my YouTube channel is a really great resource. We have got so many free videos in there, like really long form, hour-long in-depth trainings on particular topics. There's ones that I've done, but there's also, we have so many experienced guests as well, because every month in the Art of Estate Planning Facebook group, we get usually a guest on and we do an hour-long training on an estate planning topic. So we have had a huge depth of expertise in those guests coming on, and they're all available to watch for free on the YouTube channel. So go and check that out. That's a great start. If you are new to estate planning, you will learn so much. It will be a little bit higgledy-piggledy and not a lot of structure to it. But if you've got a special interest topic, it's a great idea. Okay, a few other free resources. As I said, estate planning has just the most incredible community. So I would if you're a Facebook person, get on there and check out, firstly, our Art of Estate Planning Facebook group. I can say it's incredible because that group is actually like so much bigger than me now. I created it, but when you see, you know, like we've got over 2,600 members at the time of recording this. I hope I listen back to this in a few years and we've got like 5,000 or something. That would be incredible. But at the time of recording, we've got like 2,600, and there's financial advisors, accountants, and lawyers. And that group goes off. Like I barely comment in there anymore. Everyone is just answering and supporting each other. We've got so many posts every day. You can search the group, which is so powerful. I think people don't realize that. So if you've got like an issue or you want to find out something, chuck in the search terms in that search box and you'll see all the posts and all the answers that people have generously shared in the past. So it's a really powerful resource. Now, obviously you can't take legal advice from a Facebook group, but it's great for pointing you in the right direction and just knowing, especially like if it's like, I need a specialist in this area, or what resource should I look at, or where do I even start to find the answer to this? There's also some other great Facebook groups. There's the Australian Succession and Elder Lawyers group. If you're in Queensland, there's the Queensland Succession Law Ladies, and also the New South Wales Estate Lawyers. And the New South Wales Estate Lawyers, I will shout out because that is owned by one of our members, Janice, and it's an incredible group too. They have a lot of New South Wales specific issues. Poor New South Wales. You guys in New South Wales just have like the quirkiest rules, like whether it's stamp duty, concessions, like you always are doing something different to everyone else in New South Wales. And particularly, I think a lot of the posts in that group are about the New South Wales probate court portal. So yes, if you get stuck, I'm always referring people to that because obviously I'm not doing probate applications at all and definitely not in New South Wales. So when those questions come up, I've got no idea. So I always send them to that group. Okay, we might have a little break and I'd love from you to hear from one of the lawyers in our community, Tyrone Dutt. So Tyrone was the founder of Empire Law and he is a perfect example of how you can upskill in estate planning. So he was a litigator for like 10 years before he decided to reskill into estate planning. Again, just wanted something that was a little bit more family friendly with his little ones. And yeah, now he runs a really successful estate planning practice and he shares how he did it.
Got the precedents right, and I am able to act with confidence because 10 years prior to that, I was just purely in court every single day, and so to jump into a new practice and a new area of law was daunting. So the precedents gave me that confidence, but then also like the community around it, right? Really welcoming, no dumb questions. Everyone's just here to help each other out and spread really the message in order for every Australian to get an estate planning. So that was like the massive bonus for me. It was being able to have precedents that you can have confidence in.
Okay, I'm back and now I want to share some of the resources that might be worth spending a little bit of money in. And I've selected these in terms of thinking about, okay, how are you going to stay on top of changes in the law and cases coming through and all the developments? How are you going to learn the foundations of core principles and then resources that are just going to make your life easier? Because let's face it, sometimes I feel like my whole job is just emails. It's so overwhelming. I subscribe to all the updates from all the tax, super, estate planning bulletins, and I just get so many emails every single day. And then also all the training organizations, there's so many emails about what training they're running. And look, you guys probably feel like I fall in that category and you're getting a lot of emails from me too. But what I've tried to do here is just break it down to what is going to give you the must-have when there's something critical. How are you going to find out about it without wading through all of that email junk? I don't want to say junk, but you know what I mean? The bulk of it. Because what ends up happening, right, is you don't even end up opening any of it and it just gets lost and it's in the ether. So this is about whether you're starting out or you're experienced, how can you keep your finger on the pulse in the most effective way? Because running your practice and working in your job is hard enough without also trying to read every single thing that's coming through. So, okay, let's start with courses and memberships. So for the people who are looking to upskill in estate planning and get started from another practice area, the one resource that I think will be really powerful for you, and I have to say I haven't done it, so this is really just from my research and looking at the program, is the College of Law's course, Essential Guide to Wills and Estates Practice. So the College of Laws have got a really built out succession law program and proper diplomas and all of that. This is not getting a master's or a diploma. It's just an online course. So I think it's a selection of mini online courses put together. So it's available anytime. From what I can tell, they could just change it. But at the time I'm recording this, obviously, it seems to be available anytime and you just learn it on demand. So you can just do the research and study on your own timeline. And to me, I think that looks incredible. And it really sort of goes to the core fundamentals of what is a will and what is powers of attorney and the drafting principles and all of that, which I think is great, especially if, like Tyrone, you're like, okay, I'm an experienced lawyer and I want to start my own firm in estate planning. You kind of don't have the benefit of learning on the job doing wills under a mentor. So something like this could be a really powerful way to get a shortcut and get up to speed. Obviously, you have to do all your reading and all the textbooks and everything too, but this is like a really nice curated guide. We also want to shout out our course at the Art of Estate Planning, Testamentary Trust, the Essential Guide for Australian Lawyers. And I called it the Essential Guide because I want it to be, or it is, the definitive guide for testamentary trusts. I wanted to create something that is just everything you need to know about testamentary trusts, communicated clearly and plainly, because when we get to testamentary trusts in textbooks, it's really complicated language they use, and some of the concepts are explained in a really complicated way, and it doesn't need to be. And I just think like anyone preparing wills and testamentary trusts should do that course. Look, I'll just say, like, I really wanted to make it as part of my legacy for the profession, which whether it will stand the test of time and prove to be that, I don't know. But that's what my mission was when I set it out, because I know so many people struggle with testamentary trusts. And unless you've had the privilege of working and being mentored by someone who does testamentary trusts all the time, and you've had, years of experience in it, it's a really hard area to break into. So I think that course is really powerful. If you're beyond the sort of beginner level, I think you'll get a lot out of that course. We've also got our TT Precedents Club membership. Now, that is the most beautiful membership and community out there. We've got, at the time of recording, like over 220 lawyers in Australia. And again, I thought when I made that it would just be me like yapping away, giving everyone the answers, but it's such a beautiful collaborative environment. In our hot seats, if you've been to one, you'll see, so many people are contributing and sharing their particular experience, lessons, insights. I don't know everything about everything, clearly. If you've listened to this podcast, you'll know that. But, together with over 200 people who are passionate about estate planning, we collectively get pretty close to knowing everything about everything. And not only is it great for knowledge, it's just the most beautiful community. So many of our members have formed beautiful friendships, networks. If you're feeling like you're a little bit on your own, then the TT Precedents Club will just make you feel like you are so supported and that you have that resource and community that you can tap into. You don't have to be doing everything, showing up to every week, commenting on every post. Just knowing that we're there when you need us, I think is really powerful. Rounding out the courses and memberships, I want to shout out Zinta Harris of Resolve Estate Law and her collaborative practice trading for wills and estates. Zinta is just leading the field when it comes to collaborative practice and dispute resolution. And I think that I haven't done the program yet. We've got so many members in our TT Precedents Club who have though. And it's on my list of programs to do. It's just been hard for me with the locations and having little babies at home to be able to get away to commit to doing it. But it is on my wish list, and now that my youngest is 2, I am going to make that course happen anytime. Okay, textbooks. So I'm just going to read out a list of the textbooks that I have that I like to reference. And some of these, they're not all sitting in my beautiful bookshelves. I actually have some of them through a digital subscription. If you're in Queensland, and I can only really speak to Queensland, I don't know if the other states have this, but maybe check it out with your law society, because in Queensland, the law society gives small law firms access to the Queensland Supreme Court Virtual Legal Library. And in there, we get free access to reading and searching a number of the online texts, like Jacob's Law of Trusts is on there. I think wills and maybe not the John de Groot one, the law of executors and administrators perhaps. There's quite a few on there. Hutley's is on there. There's a couple of others that are really like you can just search. So if you're in Queensland and you're a small firm and you're not using that, go and go through the hoops with the Law Society to get access to it because it's such a free, tremendous resource. So here's some of the textbooks that I have in my bookshelf that I refer to all the time. So Principles of Australian Succession Law by Ken Mackey. A couple from Del Pont. I've got the Powers of Attorney one and the Law of Executors and Administrators. In Queensland, there's Lee's Manual of Queensland Succession Law. I love the Jacobs Law of Trusts. I just like the way that they explain a lot of the trust stuff. Our Queensland Estate Planning Royalty, John de Groot, has got Wills, Probate and Administration Practice, which is a good one. Now, a big shout out to the B&R team, so Ian Raspin and Lynn Freshwater. There's no one else that I think of besides these guys. I always think of them first when it comes to tax and estate planning. So their book, Taxation of Deceased Estates, CGT on a Deceased Residence, and the Australian Tax Pitfalls of Administering an Estate with International Connections are really powerful tax resources. They explain things so clearly, and I would just definitely have those on your textbook list as a resource to have. And then another one that I actually recommend a lot in the TT Precedents Club, and it's not really about estate planning, but it's value pricing. So Implementing Value Pricing by Ron Baker is a really powerful book as well. So we dive into a lot of the principles from that book in our pricing toolkit. So if you've got the pricing toolkit, you don't necessarily need to get the book. But if you are especially going from time billing to fixed pricing, which is where the magic happens in estate planning, I think you'll really like that book. All right, now to wrap this all up, I want to talk about resources that are going to just give you more time back in your business, and those are precedents. So I'm going to just shout out the precedents that we have at the Art of Estate Planning because we put so much time and energy into creating these resources, keeping them updated, coding them, and getting feedback on them from our members. Someone said to me, wow, how are you updating your precedents all the time and keeping them so current? And how do you know what is happening across all the jurisdictions? And my answer was, it's because not only do we have over 500 law firms using them on all their clients every day and testing them, because of our TT Precedents Club membership, we have an environment where that feedback is getting given to us regularly in real time. So when someone is trying to use the precedents in a scenario that we haven't catered for, they come to the TT Precedents Club and we talk it through, and I'll go, great, we should make this change to the precedent so everyone gets the benefit. Or, yeah, this is how it works, or this doesn't work for that scenario, but we need to tinker with it to make it work. Or, gee, I didn't realize in South Australia, you guys have this nuanced thing. Let's factor that into the precedent. So it's just different to a lot of the other ways that precedent providers do it because we've got this two-way communication, which I just think is incredible. Also, I do want to shout out, we've put a lot of time and effort into coding our main precedent packages with the wills and all the letters and everything so that they've got coding for action step, leap, smoke ball, and top secret. We're working on Clio at the time of recording, so watch this space. So yeah, we really try and make it as effective, save you so much time by having it coded instead of just the old-fashioned, manually replacing. That removes errors. It just makes things so much more powerful and effective. Doing a testamentary trust will takes no more time than a simple or basic will because of the coding and the precedents way they're set up. The other thing that we also try and do is make them really user-friendly. So it's not just here's the precedent. In our like BDBN precedent pack, for instance, there's flyers that come with it that you can put your firm branding on, make them look beautiful. And it's like, okay, what's a BDBN? Why isn't my super dealt with under my will? What is a super proceeds trust? And they're like really clear. I've written them like, explain it to me like I'm 10 years old. I've written that in plain language on like 1 or 2 pages that you can put on a beautiful flyer for clients to hold on to, take home, understand those core principles, just to make your job so much easier and the client experience better. So it's not just like the technical document, it's everything around it, the letters, the flyers. Like our BDBN precedent pack has a letter for you to send to the financial advisor of the self-managed super fund to say, this is the strategy we've chosen and this is why, and we need your approval before the client signs the BDBN kind of thing. Like we've thought about everything. So the precedents package is there. We've got all the wills, all the letters, meeting agendas, file note templates, structure diagrams, estate planning, like flow chart diagrams to show where the assets are going. We've got BDBNs for self-managed super funds, deeds of successor and deeds of variation for family trusts when we're dealing with family trust succession, powers of attorney for companies and trusts, a letter of wishes pack. We've got not only our base letter of wishes, but our like supercharged letter of wishes workbook that we created in collaboration with Bernadette Jewell of Great Southern Wills, and also our pricing toolkits. So like price list templates, telling you what to price. We've got spreadsheets to help you work out the minimum of what you should be pricing so you can pay yourself enough. We've got our cost agreement terms so that you can protect your firm and set up clear expectations for clients in your cost agreement about what's included and not excluded, like all these things that come up just for estate planning specific issues. I've talked about that a lot, so I won't dive into it. But yeah, like check out our precedents. If you're sitting there going, I love estate planning, but I'd like to get my profit margins a bit higher and get more time back in my day, these precedents are really designed to help just streamline everything and get you off the word processing and reducing your risk and being able to spend more time actually with your clients or marketing your business or just with your loved ones. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Get the free download of the list from the show notes so you don't have to scribble everything down. If you have anything that you think I have missed and needs to be on that list, please put it in the Art of Estate Planning Facebook group and we will update the list to include it and feed that back to the wider community. Well, thank you so much for bearing with me as I'm doing this episode solo without Carrie, and I am so grateful for you listening. If you liked what we're doing here, I'd love it if you could leave us with a review as well. The reviews really help making us be seen in the podcast apps and also gives me feedback about what you like and don't like. It just absolutely means the world to me to know that you're listening, and if there's any particular topics that you think resonate with you more than others or something that you think that we should cover, feed it in because we are so adaptable. I can always change up the topic list and make sure we answer your topic for you. Thanks for listening. You might have heard me mention our TT Precedents Club membership a few times throughout the episodes now. So I wanted to share a little bit more information about what it is and how it works. The TT Precedents Club is a membership for Australian lawyers. Whether you're an estate planning specialist, an early career lawyer, or experienced in another legal area, and you want to add estate planning as a complement to your existing services, it doesn't matter. As long as you're curious about estate planning, keen to learn and share in our estate planning mastermind group. Every Thursday, we meet at 1 p.m. Australian Standard Time or 2 p.m. when Daylight Savings is on, and have a live Zoom call where our members submit their questions in advance. We can workshop your client scenarios, research your tricky questions, and even draft clauses for you. It will make you feel like you work in a firm with 50 other estate planning partners who are all there to support you and share their collective knowledge with you. There is no reason to feel intimidated. Our community is so supportive, friendly. There are no silly questions ever. Not only do you get access to our awesome weekly hot seat calls, but we have an exclusive Facebook group. So if you thought our free Art of Estate Planning group was good, then this group is on steroids. You also get discounts to the Art of Estate Planning Precedents, a huge back catalogue of training, in-person networking meetups, a will drafting clause library, and other practical resources to help you in your estate planning practice. The membership is month to month, so you can join for as little as 1 month and then cancel anytime. There is no lock-in period or a minimum join time. Join over 280 Australian lawyers in Australia's best estate planning community. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Art of Estate Planning podcast. If you want more information about today's episode, make sure to check out our show notes. And if you liked what you heard today, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Your reviews help us reach more listeners and support more estate planning lawyers. I acknowledge that I recorded this podcast from the lands of the Tarabellang Bunda peoples. I also want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which each of you are listening and watching from today. We pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to the lands and waters of Australia.